Okay guys, we were doing a Wiwicso, and I had to update the map a bit, and I think you can tell where a bunch of people live. They almost all live in Liechtenstein. But that will change, not because people will die, even though people will die in this episode, of old age. So the king of Liechtenstein barely even knows where his country begins and ends. Because the ancient times and maps don't really work that well. Because they have no idea where, they don't know they're, at this point, slowly becoming an empire. In a sense that an empire is usually where multiple groups of people live. Well, people from here and here are interbreeding. And slowly, as the borders change, the people start interbreeding, forming new nationalities. Like a nationality over here called Bulgarian, even though it's the Crimean ethnicity he forms through this. Even though technically it's more or less a Creole community. It's a Creole community. That's the best way to describe it. That's my definition of a Creole community is a community that has it's a community that is a mix of groups of people to where it's almost at this point a new group of people. That's my definition. So the king of Liechtenstein orders a group of people to slowly discover the rest of Europe. So you're the main explorers of Europe. But will a nation ever conquer all of the Middle East? Yes, but will not be soon at all. So, let's see. Different contexts make them look like a different color, but they're the same. So this empire slowly expands, and eventually these people start getting mad at each other for existing. The crime of existing. So a invasion begins. It goes into the red team. By the time the red team notices this, they are all the way up. They already captured a major city and are very close to the capital. Luckily, but they have this idea. They can make an alliance. This way. Let me show you how. Basically, they give a bunch of land to Persia, and Persia defends them. This became the Persians accepted the deal. However, as long as they get one more city, and they could choose a city, they chose this one due to its naval supremacy. Addressing also said they are allowed to choose one city to gain, and they chose the closest one to India, seeing it as important for existing. They just want more maritime access. So we teach the Persians how to sail to the land where they come from. So the Omanis begin their expansion. And their expansion is a reconquest of land they rightfully owned. And they go even further. And are managing to slowly go to Yemen. But as they are beginning to celebrate, they get really drunk. Now we've all know what happens when you get really drunk. I think we should know. Your Muslim is I doubt you know, but you at least have an idea. But you probably don't. Anyway, but you probably don't drink anyways, because you can't. So Persia conquers. Begins a conquest. And this will actually begin the spread of religions from all over from Asia to Africa, just by a single conquest. Now they are denied access to the main part of the country, but they are to keep on to few places. One over here, which could help them conquer the rest of Africa, and two, getting them out of here. So they were saying, but still I will say here. But that did relatively weaken them, and the capital was captured, and the king was executed. The king's son took over the rest territory he could, and since he was a military general in the area, it was easy for him to decide to pay someone to negotiate the problems. For him. So the problems have been fixed. Okay, daily Liechtenstein update. What are they up to now? They discovered all this. Are getting into India through here. And okay. And how much land they conquered? They becoming a Mongolian empire. Okay, now Liechtenstein's probably gonna die, because places are now breaking off. The Netherlands, the lowland country, breaks off, and so does France. Next, Germany breaks off, which is their main which is how Liechtenstein contacts the rest of their empire. Poland follows suit. Showing the unification of communities. Next is the Finnish country. Next is the Balkans area. Next, a conquest is beginning. The green team actually takes this over. What about the outside stuff, you may ask? You probably aren't asking, but if you are, they also get absorbed into the green team empire. This also will not last long, but it would almost certainly be very important, because it will create an idea of empires in the area, which will lead to very drastic things. But most people here are nomads, so I think it's now Russia forms. They are kind of the leftovers. Russia is the leftover of war, and they are really just a city confederation. They began a city confederation with city alliance, hence just in case they were able to lose control. But the amount of cities that actually sided with them was surprising. It also, many of them were bribed too. But a lot of the cities really didn't participate in this, so they basically became anarchy. So this land is anarchy. The purest definition of anarchy you can find. Basically, okay, if it's this dark, I guess this dark of a gray. Actually, no, that's not dark enough for anarchy. To be barely distinguishable from black. This represents anarchy. And, well, a lot of factions will form out of it. After realizing they have no contact with Liechtenstein because of how far they are,